Hey, welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast. I'm Kyle. Chris is subbing in for Trevor because he's sacrificing people again. And then
Not again.
not again.
Not again.
And then we've got a couple very special guests in Foz and Ricky from the band Spit My Rage, local band to Dallas Fort Worth. I guess more Fort Worth. You guys rep the Fort Worth name, so I won't soil it with Dallas. The Fort Worth hardcore band Spit My Rage. So thank you guys for jumping on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So I have been bugging you for a while now. I'm glad we're finally on. It's good timing too, though, right? Because I think y'all have got some good shows, some good music coming out. Give us a little bit of an update of what Spit My Rage is doing right now.
You want me to speak on this one, Ricky?
Yeah, you're the man behind the scenes.
Okay. Yeah. I guess for starters, I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it'll definitely be before our run with Grimoire. But you heard it here first. But there's gonna be a new record coming out, new EP. The art is almost done. I got the insert art the other day. Cover art's been ready for a while, and then just waiting on the back art. But other than that, you should see some news here about a new record coming out. And then immediately following up with the record dropping, we'll go on a run with our boys in Grimoire, who we did a summer tour with last year. And then we got some friends of ours from Covert over in Springfield, Missouri, hopping on. So, just the three of us playing for 4 days in Texas, in a city we never played before, which is McAllen, Austin, and then
Sick.
San Antonio, and then Fort Worth. Uh, After that, we've got another tour, and this one hasn't been announced yet, but there should be some news on that soon. But we're going to be going on tour with Prevention from Springfield, Illinois. It's about 2 weeks. We're playing the Northeast, places like New York City, Baltimore, Providence, like around those areas, close to Boston. I mean, I don't know. It's the North. The North is the North to me,
Yeah.
man. I don't know no better. I'm just a dumb hit from Texas. And then in July we got something coming up that should have some news popping, but it's gonna be us and a bunch of bands from here in Texas going somewhere that I can't name just yet. But you'll hear something soon. And then yeah, other than that, just business as usual, playing what we can, writing and doing the thing, man. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sorry if I didn't mean to spoil anything. I hope I didn't spoil anything, but
No, you're good. You're good.
All
I
right.
mean, a lot of this stuff should get announced pretty soon.
Cool. Okay. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. It's well deserved. The last song that you guys dropped not that long ago was awesome. I invited Chris to jump on and talk. What was the first thing you said, Chris? That recent song was incredible.
Oh yeah, it was tremendous. Right off the bat, I was like, "Oh, I will happily talk about this." Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well deserved. So how does some of this stuff come about? You're obviously pretty prevalent in Fort Worth area. Do you have connections with those bands? How did some of these tours come about?
For a lot of them, like the Grimoire one, those are our boys. I've known Jason Arp, who plays guitar in Grimoire, for a minute. I've seen him around for years. I used to see his a lot of his older bands perform. Like he used to play in this band called Facing Worlds. Used to see them. Uh, but I mean, I'm just familiar with the guy. We didn't really start talking until like a couple years back, and we got friendly with one another. I showed some appreciation towards Grimoire. He liked what we were doing with Spit, and we always are looking for opportunities to play out of state, especially if it's worth it. And early in uh, early in 2024, in January 2024, we had two bands from the Midwest called Payasa and Subject to Change hit us up for a Texas run, and we hopped on that, and that was a lot of fun. And towards the end of it, they said y'all should really come to the Midwest, play some shows here. And we never had a plan for like doing a run at the time or even like a little tour. And I was like, man, fuck it, might as
Yeah.
well. So we talked about it, and I was like, I want to go with like another Fort Worth band, and I presented the idea to Grimoire, and they were about it. And yeah, long story short, that's how that happened there. Uh, but that's just like one long-winded explanation. The rest are just like, I've been going to shows for a minute. I've been talking to people that go to the shows. They're in bands. They're friends. So the connection's always been there. The chemistry's always been there. But yeah, that's just to sum it up.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm all
No,
over the place with this one.
yeah,
Well, I
no,
mean,
That's
that's
good though.
that's just how it is in general in the scene here. I mean, there are no egos. Everyone just kind of shows up. Everyone goes to every show, whether it's a hardcore band, metal band, punk band, whatever genre it may be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And kids just get along. Everyone chit chats, and you just get to kind of know everyone, and it's really cool. Especially for me being an outsider, I'm from the Northeast, and
Mm.
I attended my first local show here. It was right before COVID. It was called Vibe Fest. There's a bunch of local bands at Bedford Center for the Arts. Is that what it's called?
Central Arts Bedford.
Central Arts.
Yeah.
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 Rest in peace. But yeah, that's the first local show that I went to. I just happened to meet someone outside of the scene. They're like, "Hey, the show's going on tonight. You should come check it out." And I was absolutely blown away about what they had here. Like, I didn't realize that there was a local hardcore scene like this here.
Yeah.
Being from the Northeast, and growing up going to shows in like Boston, Worcester, and Providence and stuff, and seeing what everyone's got going on down here, I'm like, this is really fucking cool. Like, and then I just started networking as well, and I was like, I want to be a part of this. This is really neat.
That's sick. Is that how the members of Spit met each other? Is that you guys were all like going to shows together?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. It started with one of our boys, Samuel. He plays guitar and spit. This whole thing was his idea. When shows were coming back, there was a backyard show happening in Grand Prairie, and this was like in July of 2022. He drove all the way up here from Austin, and we like had some small talk, and we introduced one another, and we were just like, oh, okay, you're cool. Uh, little bit after the introduction and some dancing and stuff, a band over there, which I will not name, uh, for reasons, did a floor punch cover, and I got hyped and hopped on the mic for it. And then he was like, "Man, you got a good voice. You should front a band." I was like, I don't know." Fast forward a year later, he's back in Denton for a thing called Territory Fest, which is what the Ballistic Crew put together. Shout out Cream of the
Okay.
Crop; those are our homies. Uh, he like came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I've been thinking about like what I told you last year. Let's do it." And I was like, "Okay, fuck it, let's go for it. What's the vibe?" And at first we were trying to. He wanted to go for like a youth crew thing, a straight edge hardcore thing. I was like, "Nah, we'll I'd rather do a different sound, but let's keep it straight edge. Let's find some straight edge homies to hop on." And he's like, "Okay, bet." And before you know it, Ozone made like a Discord, like a DFW Discord, just for
Okay.
people to talk on and communicate or say some shit like, "Hey, doing a band. Hey, looking to join a band." And I met Ricky prior to that Discord. I met him at like a Fiddlehead show, and I'd seen him before. He played in a band called Formula, and I checked out Formula before, so I knew about Ricky. And then when I saw his post on the Discord, I was like, "Oh, let me hit up my boy here, see what's up." And that's how I met Ricky. And then my buddy Christian, he mentioned that he dabbled in some bass, and I was like, "You want to play bass for this thing that might or might not happen? Could be could be dope, or could be a massive fuck up and a waste of time." And
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of how Spit came to fruition. A little bit after our first three shows, that's when I met Cash, uh, who plays guitar in a solid band called Hardcore. Like those guys are dope. They dropped a EP last month. That was really fucking good. Check that out. And from talking to Cash and learning about hardcore, because those guys were like another straight edge band. We were a four piece at the time. I was like, "Yo, you wanna hop on and riff with us?" He's like, "I'm down." And then we
Well,
picked up
first
Cash.
he filled in on drums for us because I got
Yeah, he
COVID and
did.
I couldn't
Yeah.
play a show.
Oh my gosh.
And then he was just randomly like, "Oh, I know your songs," or like, "Oh, sick." So like he filled in, and then like I messaged him. I'm like, "Hey man, like I appreciate it." 'Cause, like I think it was the first show that Spit played at Black Cat.
Yeah, it
And I
was.
remember like seeing the videos on Instagram. I'm like, dude, kids are like going nuts. So I like had a severe case of FOMO. So like I messaged him on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, dude, like I appreciate you filling in. Like it means a lot. And then we were just kind of talking, and we're like, hey, do you want to play second guitar? And then
Yeah.
yeah, just
And
kind of
then
worked out. Well,
That's awesome.
I mean, I knew those kids before because like I had played shows with them in a different band.
yeah.
But those kids are so talented. Like they're like 19 years old and just fucking shred.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They know how to riff, man. And then eventually Daniel from Hardcourt, Christian left to kind of pursue his education. So Daniel from Hardcourt ended up hopping on bass, and that's kind of what the vibe's been so far. Just us five doing our thing and taking over. But and it never felt weird because we were all friends to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's the magic of like just friends playing in a band, because it just works, right?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Where does the name Spit My Rage come from?
We'll give you one guess.
Terror.
Yeah.
Ah.
Which is funny because people like see our name and they're like, oh, they must be like a Terror ripoff band.
Right. Yeah.
And like we don't sound anything like Terror.
Instead, they hear a Killing Time riff or a Breakdown riff, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spit My Rage is all right. I think I just saw there's a band out of California though called Keepers of the Faith, and I'm like, all right, that's
Yeah.
That one's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's just like Terror too.
So you guys it is a straight edge band, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%.
Is that like I mean, obviously it's a conscious effort to call yourself a straight edge band, but why the conscious effort for that?
For me, we definitely had the opportunity to not be straight edge, but I didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to make a statement with it. Like, at the time when it was forming, the edge wasn't really taking off, and you could count like the amount of people that were straight edge and going to local shows on like two hands.
Mm.
It was definitely less than 10 people. So I did it more so as a statement, like, hey, straight edge might not be a thing, or you might think it's like, not a thing, but it's very much so alive and thriving with this band here. And man, that's not the case no more, dude. Like Ricky and I still get dumbfounded whenever like there's random kids we never met before Xing up. Like the Edge Day show. We hosted an Edge Day show last year. Majority of it was all bands from the state. All
Yeah.
straight edge bands. And then Statement of Pride from Pensacola and Apex Predator, who aren't straight edge but needed to hop on a show.
Yeah.
Like there were so many just random ass kids I've never seen before in my life Xing up at that show. And it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah. I don't know. Again, it just started as like just a way to say, hey, we're straight edge. I know there's not a lot of us here, but we'll rep it.
Yeah.
Not to sound
Yeah.
corny or nothing, but yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool. And I'm glad it's upfront now. Cause I'm older than you guys. I've seen a lot of the cycles, of hardcore. And it did feel like for a while there, that part of it was kind of lost, and one thing I've noticed, and I wanted to ask you about it in a second, but one thing I've noticed is that the scene here in Dallas and Fort Worth feels a little younger, and it is cool to see a lot of these kids coming out. And the younger you are, like people make jokes like when you're older you break edge, whatever. But like, man, if you can get in younger and understand the importance of this, because me and Chris also, have claimed edge for a long time, and it sticks with you, man. It's a clean mind is a powerful mind, and I truly believe that. So, like, I respect you guys for, like you said, making a statement, not skirting around it, and being who you are. So,
And we appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think because there's always that negative connotation. They're like, oh, they're straight edge. They hate people who like drink or do whatever, or we're gonna get beat up because you're straight edge. And it's like, dude, like personally, I mean, I don't give a fuck what you do. Like it's for me. Like this is my lifestyle. I think this is what's best for me. And I have a young family, and I want to be a good role model for my kids. And I don't know. And we even have kids come up to the show, and they're like, oh, we're not straight edge, but we just like really love your music, and like I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like, you don't have to be straight edge to appreciate straight edge music. It's
Yeah.
Right.
our like we do rep it up front, but not every song is just like singing about straight edge and like trying to put other people down. It's like we have
Yeah.
one or two straight edge songs, and then Foz does a great job with lyrics. He writes about a lot of other stuff too, a lot of political stuff, and
Yeah.
some unity. And it's just I just think that we're trying to get rid of that negative connotation around straight edge.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
mean, I don't give a fuck, man. Just don't talk shit. That's it.
Yeah.
Just
That's
don't
the other
talk
part.
shit. Don't be a
Yeah, we
fucking loser and talk shit. Like,
Amen.
do
we
whatever the
were
fuck you want.
we were
Right.
talking about this earlier. Me and Chris are from Salt Lake City, and so if you want to talk about negative connotations around the straight edge scene, like we fully get it. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, but oh shoot, I was gonna ask something, but I forgot. Go ahead, Chris. I've talked a ton.
Speaking of straight edge, who are some of your favorite straight edge bands? Just out of curiosity.
Damn, you put us on the fucking spot with that,
I
man.
know. You got me thinking. Yeah.
I gotta think
Floor
on this
Punch,
one.
Carry
Yeah,
On,
go for it, Ricky.
Chain of Strength,
Ooh,
Strife,
great answers.
Shit, man.
couple right up the top.
Judge for
Yeah.
sure. I'm big on like Euro straight edge from the '90s, like
Yeah.
sportswear, Crucial Response Records, stuff like that. Uh, Obviously, Youth of Today, Straight Ahead when they were claiming the straight edge shit.
Yeah.
Shit,
10
man.
Yard Fight.
10-yard fight. I mean,
10 yard fight rules.
local wise, we got a band here, band from San Antonio called It's the Limit that do some really great like Boston hardcore worship, kind of leaning towards like, the more stop and think side of things.
Yeah.
So they're fucking dope. And
Ancient Ones.
Ancient Ones, yeah. I was just about to say
Fucking
Ancient Ones
sick.
goes the fuck off, man. They're
Yeah.
fucking sick.
And then, of course, Hardcore, or like they're straight edge band as well. They're heavier, but they're just, like I
Yeah.
said, those kids are fucking sick.
Yeah.
I was just talking to one of my friends back home about them today.
Yeah.
Because he's asking about some band in Texas. I'm like, check out this band instead. Hardcore's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, like if you like just like the ignorant mosh and shit,
Yeah.
I'm not like always gonna gravitate towards heavy, but I fuck with what hardcore does, and I'll always take every second to rep them for sure. No dick
That's right.
ride, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
That's
sick.
right.
And then in Oklahoma, there's like a newer straight edge band that we had the opportunity to play with. It was like one of their first shows as like this new formed band. Formerly they were called M1A1, but now they're called Eruption. So they're doing their thing.
That rules.
Yeah. But yeah, those are some bands off the top of our heads there.
Love that. Kyle, what's your answer? Let's not make them just answer everything. What's your answer for some of your straight edge bands?
I mean, Earth Crisis is my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I always gravitated. I know, but I always like have gravitated more towards like metallic hardcore stuff.
Okay.
So, like, not only like the straight edge, and I'm try to be an advocate for environmental stuff too. So, like, they tick a lot of boxes for me personally. So,
yeah,
they're probably my favorite. So, but I don't know, man. Right. There's too many good ones.
There's so many good ones.
I'll throw it back for you. This is more your thing. I know they're not from Utah, but I'll fuck with some AFB.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's
AFB for sure.
That's a band I haven't heard in a while.
Seriously. Dang, dude.
Reno Straight Edge, yeah.
Yeah.
They're from Reno, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that might be one of those bands that we talk about offline with some of the issues in Salt Lake. So, yeah. Again, I don't know. You could list all the hardcore bands and throw darts at it, and they've probably had some type of drama in Salt Lake.
100%. Yeah.
There's always going to be something about some sort of band. Most of the shit's just not out there.
Yeah.
Some of the shit is, but yeah.
So how, like, this is just a dumb, ignorant question on my part, but like, how much does the like Dallas versus Fort Worth, like in the hardcore, I know that like people I work with poke fun at either one, right? If you're not from there, the scene here, does that actually matter? Or do you guys not care? If
that shit's like non-existent now. Like, it's not really a thing. I mean, before COVID, all the shit was like popping in Dallas. Fort Worth, we had like a DIY spot called 1919 that had like a lot of shows. But now, bro, like nobody gives a fuck. It's like wherever a show can happen, it can happen. If you can book it somewhere, people don't really care. They'll go out for it. They'll
Cool.
they'll do whatever. I know for a fact that if we booked in Dallas a little more often, could definitely see more a higher influx of people for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but
It's just tough with venues on that side of the Metroplex.
Mm.
Because Deep Ellum sucks. Like no one likes going there. But I mean, Black Hat's sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. More of the DIY stuff's on this side of the Metroplex, and when you're on that side, you run more into promoters that promote at a lot of those venues, and that brings on a whole other layer of bullshit that hardcore
Sure.
bands just don't want to deal with.
yeah,
Yeah. It's very different for me and Chris because it's like in Utah, it's Salt Lake City, and there's a town that's maybe like 45 minutes away, but
if that, our closest major city is Boise, Idaho. So yeah.
It is a little bit of a bubble. I guess you could say Texas is kind of its own little bubble too. Like, how much do you guys actually engage with bands from like Austin, San Antonio? Do you feel kind of detached from those scenes, or is it like you're still cool
Not
with
at
it
all.
because it's all Texas
Nah.
hardcore?
Not at all. That
Well,
is not the case.
we'd argue that like San Antonio is like our home. Like kids go
Cool.
the fuck off down there.
Yeah,
Like we've always had a great time.
For a minute, we were playing in San Antonio more than we were in DFW.
Wow.
So, that was kind of like the bit amongst us. But yeah, no, there definitely feels like there's a sense of state unity for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
That's awesome.
there's not much of a division. It's never weird. I always have people hitting us up for like either coming out there or them coming up here and putting something together. Like, we're all homies. We're all friends at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
You guys have mentioned that there's a lot of younger people in your scene going to shows, which is truly fantastic. And you're both very experienced in going to shows and playing shows. What is a bit of advice you would give to like a younger hardcore kid? Like maybe new to the scene.
Respect the spot.
Yeah, respect the spot.
Yeah.
Don't take the mosh into heart. Like if you get hit, you get hit. Just keep that in mind. It's never personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do see that a lot, especially with we're not a heavy band, and we've got an influx of heavier beat down type bands in the last 4 or 5 years, just because some bands got really big, and then those are their influences.
Yep.
Which I get and understand, and I think we get a lot of those younger kids coming into the scene because those are their gateway bands. I mean, us being older, they weren't our gateway bands, so we look at hardcore a little differently. And no disrespect to those bands because it's growing the scene and bringing kids to shows and they're starting bands and it's cool. But we see it a lot with some of the younger kids. They're just fighting all the time. Like they get hit and then they start fighting and then shit gets broken or someone pulls a weapon and then we can't play hardcore shows at these venues anymore. And it's like, so yeah, the big thing is just like, if you get hit, like it's gonna happen, or just don't stand there, or respect the spot. Don't be fucking shit up because you just ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah. Don't make it about yourself, and just fucking have a good time. I don't know, man. Like that's
just talk and just socialize and talk to people. Because I mean, like there's so many people there. Like even myself, first time going, like I don't know anyone here. Like it's a little intimidating. Like you don't know if you're gonna be welcomed. Like, but everyone's so chill. Anyone that I've ever talked to has just been so nice, and everyone pretty much has the same mentality, and they're just there to have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, like I stuck to the shadows for the longest fucking time. I never really bothered talking to people much, but that changed like recently because COVID kind of set in stone. Like, okay, you can keep going to these shows by yourself and be fucking miserable, or you can interact and find some sort of common ground with these people. Like, like it's intimidating at first, but like people are genuinely there to be your friend and make friends,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like, again, I'm not playing the old head thing here because I'm really not that old, but I remember going to shows when like we all had flip phones, you couldn't just sit there on freaking social media the whole time and not talk to people. Like you'd go there and you talk to everyone, One thing that drew me to you guys and why I feel like I've been kind of persistent on trying to talk to you is I actually have seen that especially from you, Foz, is going out and talking to everyone. And that made me feel a little nostalgic for the scene that I grew up in, And so I definitely respect that. I think it's needed. We talked to a band called Time Heist, straight edge band
Oh,
out
Yeah, from
that band's
Colorado.
fucking
Colorado. Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome dudes. And, same like old head type attitude. And he was saying that even like booking shows and trying to do tours is hard now because nobody talks to each other anymore, you know? And so that was part of why I asked you, about how you got those, connections doing a tour up in Northeast with prevention, all this stuff, is because like you guys might have figured out the key that no one does anymore, and that's
Totally.
you got to talk to people.
Yeah, no, that's the
So
only way, man. I mean, you can always establish like some weird online parasocial relationship with another person over HC, but like it's not gonna be the same unless you
yeah.
actually buck up and talk to somebody.
100%.
Yeah.
So with this like younger generation stuff, I know you said respect the scene, but like, what do you think? What do you think? Maybe it's a sound or a type of band or whatever. What do you think DFW is missing? Like, what do you think? Like, do we need more like youth crew type bands? Do we need more? I don't know. I saw Visions of Mortality and I was like, I want more of that. Like, do you think there's a sound or something that DFW is missing?
Uh,
I don't. I don't.
you
I don't
you
think
you,
it's
you
a
speak on
set.
this one, Ricky.
Yeah, because we kind of talk about this a lot, and I don't think it's a sound per se. I think it's a little bit of a different mentality of not who can write the heaviest breakdowns and mosh
Mm.
parts, but who can put out a good message and everyone learns those lyrics and they fucking steal the mic from you and sing those lyrics back. Because I grew up going to shows in the late 90s, early 2000s in the Boston area.
Yeah.
It wasn't about beat down, moshing. It was you learn every single song, learn every lyric to every single song. You try and steal that mic, you crawl on top of people, and you jump off the stage. That's what you did at shows.
Yeah.
Where now I think it's gotten away from that. Kind of going back to what we talked about, like the most recent influences in bands and stuff. But it's just it's all about the heavy mosh, which is cool. Like I respect that, but that's just not. I didn't grow up going to shows like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I
That's
mean,
that's my that's my 2 cents.
I agree with everything Ricky's saying. I think sound wise, the beatdown thing is kind of its own world. It's in its own echo chamber for sure in Texas. Like they book their own shows and respect to them. I think it's dope that they have like their own scene, regardless of the city. I mean, me personally, I would definitely like to see more like. I hate the term regular HC because it's either it's hardcore or not.
Right.
I'd like
Yeah.
to just see some more straightforward hardcore stuff. I mean, Visions of Mortality is fucking sick. That shit sounds like All Out War and Marauder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing against like a heavy ass band. The style, the attitude, the mentality definitely play factors into that kind of shit. Just come into it with like the mentality of like I'm here to fucking just put some dope shit out,
Yeah.
get people on it. They're either on board with it or not. Rather than like I'm just here to write the heaviest fucking mosh riff out there and see you motherfuckers like just knock each other senseless. Like I'll obviously go for the former rather than the latter if I'm using that correctly. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. If anybody ever wants to play a core for core show, uh, you definitely have a better chance of hopping on one if that shit sounds like fucking Killing Time or like I
Yeah.
don't know, like some straight up '80s NYHC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang my line if you got something like that going on in DFW, man.
That's rad. Okay, so speaking of like, I think that's a great question, Kyle. And like, where what needs to be added to the scene for DFW, but like, where do you guys in 5 years? Where do you want Spit to be at that point, or do you have a plan for where you want Spit to be at that point?
Nah, not really. That's just me.
Okay,
I
fair.
mean,
I don't even know
Fair
where we'll be at
enough.
the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys are going to be a
yeah,
shoegaze band, is what you're saying. Shoegaze playing
Maybe.
fest. Yeah, there you go.
I fuck with the
Maybe.
shoegaze, man. I like that shit. I mean, I
No,
don't
but
know, dude. We just kind of live in the now, man. Like,
Good. Yeah.
go ahead, Ricky.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. We write stuff, and obviously people evolve, but we just write what we like, and I don't know. I mean, me personally, I didn't think that we would be doing the shit that we're doing now when we started. Um, getting to play Flyover Fest, like that was
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking amazing. We got to open for fucking Speed and Bitter Ends. Like
that rules.
Bitter Ends, a fucking
That
OG
show was
Texas
insane too.
hardcore band. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so like not my wildest dreams that I think we could do that. And then we did that run up through the Midwest last summer, and we saw a lot of people that we saw at shows or met at shows in the Midwest at Flyover. So that was really fucking cool. Like, really neat sense of validation there. And we don't do it for the validation, but just to see something like see these kids or people that we met last summer
Yeah.
drive a couple states over, and they show up early because we played at like noon on Sunday.
Nah, dude,
That
we
come
didn't
in.
even play at noon. We played at like 11:45. It wasn't
Yeah,
That's
even
crazy.
fucking
and the place
noon.
was still like packed out, and like kids were going nuts.
Really?
So I was like, yeah, I was like,
That's
this is
awesome.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's
It
awesome.
was it was
But
sick.
yeah,
I
to
mean,
answer your question, I don't know. Like,
That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we give a fuck about it, other people give a fuck about it, we'll
Yeah.
still keep doing what we're doing, man. I mean, I, I I'm not trying to say it's like inappropriate or nothing, but like I don't know, just saying like 5 years from now, it's too hard to tell. Anything can happen.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
yeah,
but yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it.
Great.
So, like, we've talked to a few bands that they're perfectly content with just being the local band in their city. Are you guys cool and open to be like, oh, I'm going to go do a countrywide tour? Like, is that, I mean, are you guys cool with that? Or are you still kind of like, nah, like I know Ricky said you got a young family and stuff, And are
Shit, I
you
mean
cool with just being the DFW band or what?
that's kind of what the plan was originally.
yeah.
It's just like, yeah, we'll play local gigs, and then you know, I guess we started caring more about trying to play after more people showed that they cared. But I mean, obviously, we got to know our limits. Some of us are have responsibilities to jobs and
Yeah.
shit that's like just a part of getting older. I know, like for me personally, like I always make the time, man. But I can't. Not everybody in Spit can say that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no qualms against doing like a national thing or you know playing like 90 days. Like I mean, Haywire's doing that. They're playing like
Yeah.
Crazy.
all over the fucking country.
Yeah.
I know.
Seriously.
Uh, but it's that's not always going to be the case. Not everybody's going to be that fortunate.
Yeah.
No, and I think just seeing the opportunities that we have had in such a short time frame, um, it's cool. And to look out and be like, oh well, this band wants to go out of state for a couple of days, or we want to
Yeah.
go do this, or
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
we went to Tampa. We flew to Tampa last year to play the Armageddon Record Showcase and played with some amazing bands.
yeah,
And then once you get like got a little taste of that, it's like, oh well, this is like people actually give a shit. So it's like, yeah,
yeah,
maybe we'll try to go out of state and see what happens. And that's why we decided to book this thing this summer with Prevention. It kind of started as like maybe like a long weekend. We'd fly up there, but then we talked to a couple other bands, and Prevention said they were planning on booking a tour around that time too. And we're like, fuck it, we'll just it's like almost 2 weeks. We'll do it. Like we'll find the time. And I got a career and a family and stuff, but as long as I have enough time out to like
Yeah.
schedule it, and
Yeah.
my wife and family's good with it, and we just make it work.
yeah, man.
This is something that I'm really passionate about. So
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man. I got that 3 weeks of motherfucking PTO stacked up, and
yeah,
I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use
yeah,
it on HT like that, man.
yeah. The old 401k hardcore.
401k hardcore.
Yeah,
someone's got to pay the bills, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. That's great
So,
though. Okay, this is super random, but it just came to my mind, and I'm very curious what your answer is. Let's imagine all the stars aligned, and career nothing has to do with it, and you got to open for any band. You got to play with any band for one show. Who would be like your dream band to get to play with?
Judge
Okay,
easily, just without any second thoughts.
that'd be
Judge would be
sick.
cool.
that'll be
I
Yeah.
sick.
mean, if they had stuck with just playing the Black and Blue Bowl for the one reunion show and nothing else after that, cool. That would have been like the dopest reunion ever. But
Right.
since they're open to playing more shit in different parts of the country, I have nothing against it. I mean, they played Dallas before, uh, in like 2015.
Oh,
So that was cool. So there's always a chance, but Judge for sure for me.
that'd be sick.
Big influence on Spit for sure.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great answer. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it'd just be cool. Yeah.
What about you, Ricky?
So this is going to be way out of left field. I'm not even sure if you know
Yes.
this band, but my favorite hardcore band of all time is the Suicide File. And if I got to
the
open
Suicide File
yeah.
rocks. Yeah.
if I got to
Yeah.
fucking open for them, man, like that's just one band that
Yeah.
That does show you from the Northeast. Yeah.
yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
man. We used to warm up with Ashcroft just for shits and giggles before
That
shows.
rules. Yeah.
yeah,
That's a great
yeah,
answer.
yeah. I flew up for Bane's first of 600 reunion shows,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Suicide File played. And
Whoa.
I was actually more excited to see the Suicide File because I hadn't seen them since maybe like 05, 06.
Yeah.
So I was fucking stoked.
That's a great answer. Suicide File and Judge, both great bands.
What about you, Chris?
Oh man, on the spot. There is so for Foz and Ricky, I'm a cyber grind musician, and so I don't play hardcore. I love hardcore. I just don't play it.
You,
And if
you
I
gonna
got
say
to
some
play,
shit like Ed Gein?
I would love to play with Ed Gein. That's better than my answer. So maybe Ed Gein is my answer. I love like the MySpacey shit. There's a artist
Daughters
called
before they got
I
weird.
shot not daughters. Oh my hell, not daughters. No,
Yikes.
no.
I think
I
they were
will
canceled or
push
something.
that distance between me and daughters as far as I can.
Yeah.
There's an artist called I Shot the Duck Hunt Dog that I love. That is so weird and super grindy and weird. But Kyle, how about you? Now I'm curious who, like, if you were in a band right now, who would you love to open for?
So okay, we could get into just like all-time favorite bands or whatever, but like Thrice is my all-time favorite band. So if I could open, like I would open for them, but if I was playing hardcore, I probably wouldn't be opening for Thrice, but
I don't know, man. Thrice has had a lot of weird bands open for them, including like hardcore bands.
That's true.
So yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
But
I mean, look at bands like Pain of Truth going on tour like 4 years strong and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking sick.
And isn't Pain of Truth opening for like The Story So Far or whatever?
yeah.
Well,
that's awesome.
Like, they're all like buddies, like all the dudes from The Story So Far and Pain of Truth, and there's a bunch of other bands.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I won't name, but yeah.
All right, here's the band I would open for: Misery Signals. There you go. That's
there
the
you
heavy
go.
metal band. They're like the best ever. But
Ms. Sigs would be great. Great answer.
So, I saw like Shai Hulud went out with Newfound Glory. That was like one of the wildest shows I've ever been to back in the day.
That's right, because Chad's been in both.
But, yeah, Chad was in Shai Hulud.
Yeah.
I got to see them at the Furnace Fest pre-show a couple years ago.
That's rad.
Sick. The dude, the original drummer from Yellow Card is their drummer. Pierre.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. That's fascinating.
Dude, Yellow Card's tight too. You know.
I was never huge into Yellow Card. I'm going to be
down
100%
some Ocean
honest.
Avenue. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
I was never huge into Yellow Card. I'm so sorry. If you want to keep me from the podcast, I get it. I make sense.
Right, probably will.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
So going back to you guys a little bit, how did you get into hardcore? How did you get into like the instruments that you play? You know, I guess we could start with Ricky. Like, how did you get into drumming? What was your like intro into hardcore?
Sure. Yeah. So I was a big metal and like punk fan, like through like grade school and middle school. I hung around with a lot of older kids, and they played in bands. Someone played in pop punk bands, hardcore bands, and they'd be like a lot of mixed genre local shows, which is really cool. But yeah, I was big into like metalcore, like Unearth, August Burns Red, stuff like that in the early 2000s. And then so my older friends showed me just different bands. And I was like, oh, this is cool, because I'd listened to like the Unseen and the Casualties and the Misfits, stuff like that. And then one of my friends showed me some hardcore bands, and it was like right in the middle between the two. And I'm like, this is like the best of both worlds for me. And then I actually started playing drums in high school. I had some friends that played instruments, and I was over one of their houses and they had a drum kit, and I'm like, oh, this seems fun, and uh, just started wailing away, and then I just started like listening to songs and trying to repeat what I was hearing. Um, and then I started jamming with some friends. I played in a metalcore band in towards the end of high school. But we'd cover like Kill Switch, As I Lay Dying, like stuff like that,
Cool.
like the peak like early 2000s metalcore.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, it just kind of went from there.
That's awesome. Did you
Yeah.
feel like it was hard, like to learn drums on your own? Do you wish like you would have taken lessons or something?
Mm, not, I don't know if hard, I'd say, because I don't know. Like I just felt like I could listen to it and be like, oh, this is what they're doing, and I can try and mimic it. It's
Yeah.
not like I could never do that on guitar. Someone could show me what to play and I could play it, or give me tabs and I can learn it and play it. But I don't have an ear for that.
Yeah.
Um, so people that can do that on guitar or whatever is like that's mind blowing to me.
Seriously.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What about you, Foz? Were you like just practice like screaming in the mirror and stuff? And you're like, oh hey, I can do this.
Nah. I guess like we could start origin wise with how I found out about hardcore,
Yeah.
but I mean, I grew up in like a pretty shitty fucking country ass town in Oklahoma called Broken Arrow. I mean, it's nice now, but where I grew up, it was like the fucking outskirts. It was the boonies. I was a pretty weird fucking kid, so I didn't
Still
really get
weird.
along. Yeah, still fucking weird, man. I don't know. I twitch a lot and fucking look down. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really get along with a lot of people, but like the weird fucking trailer trash kids with like meth heads for parents like me. So I was hanging around with those kids naturally because I was like, oh, great. I guess these are my friends. And a lot of those kids, man, they had like free range to whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And one of them, his name was Taylor. He put me on a Slayer at like 11, 12 years old. Before that, it was just whatever was on the radio.
Yeah.
Like my parents weren't really like music people. They either liked old ass Bollywood music or fucking Lionel Richie. Uh,
Great combo.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
Taylor put me on to like Slayer and stuff, and that naturally grabbed that naturally just did something to me where I was like, man, this is fucking heavy. I like this. And then, slowly just started getting into more like the 80s heavy metal stuff like thrash and then new wave of British heavy metal like Priest, Ozzy, still a huge Ozzy fan. Love Ozzy. That was like one of the first shows I've ever been to in my life was seeing Ozzy Osbourne at the Bank of Oklahoma Center in like 2011.
Yeah.
So,
It's tight.
you know, that definitely was where I got my start. But when it came to like punk, didn't really know much about that. On the Cartoon Network, there used to be like music videos and stuff that would play. There was this band from Portland called the Thermals. They had a music video on there, and they had this song called "Now We Could See," and I was like, man, this is kind of dope. What is this shit? It's not heavy, but it's not like bad.
Yeah.
So I started like going to like a deep dive with their discography, and I found a music video for one of their songs called "I Don't Believe You," and it had like Carrie Brownstein, whatever the fuck her name is, from
Yeah.
Sleater Kenny, in the
Yeah.
video, and in the comments on YouTube, somebody was like, "Nice Black Flag poster," and I was like, "What the fuck is Black Flag? I'm gonna look this up." And
Nice.
then I look up Black Flag, and the first thing that pops up is like that video of them playing Rise Above live. It was like for like Decline of Western Civilization. I was like, man, this shit's hard.
Yeah.
And then I got hooked on that, and then started going on like a little punk rabbit hole. Found out about like Minor Threat and the whole fucking spiel, the Bad Brains. Then fucked around with some Pandora, and Pandora started recommending me shit like Youth of the Day. And I was like, man, this doesn't sound like punk, but I like this. This almost sounds like fucking metal.
Yeah.
And been hooked ever since. As for like the singing and shit, I mentioned it earlier. I've been going to shows for like almost a decade. Well, about a decade. Um, didn't really talk to a whole lot of folks, but I always like wanted to do something like music wise other than just kind of attend. Uh, and then I met Sam, and Sam was like, "You got a good voice. You should give it a shot." and I was like, "Fuck it, let me do it." And just kind of off the bat, but with between kind of learning how to breathe and stuff, finding out YouTube tutorials on shit like that,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe this is it. And then yeah, that just kind of happened. It was like one of those things where it's like, you want to sing? I'll learn how to sing,
Yeah.
and been doing it ever since. And then about like last year, it's been about a year now. I picked up how to play bass because
Mm.
I'm in another band called DEFCON One, uh,
Okay.
which is like a local band here, kind of more on like the straightforward hardcore side of things. And like Ricky, I don't really know how to play shit by ear, but if you show me where to put my fingers, I'll fucking finesse that shit. So did that, and yeah, that's kind of my introduction to singing and haphazardly playing bass.
It's cool.
That rules. I love that. I'm gonna kind of echo what I said before, but in terms of like, if you were to give advice to someone starting a band or starting to play local shows, what's a bit of advice you would give to someone like pretty new to the actual making of the music?
Ricky, you want to answer this one?
Yeah, just write and play what you like.
Nice.
Don't try and write music for other people, because I think that comes through as a fan when you can tell the passion that someone puts into their music, and when they do it for themselves and not for anyone else.
Yeah.
And that that's something that I've always believed. Where if someone fucks with it, they fuck with it. If they don't, they don't. And
Yeah.
it's just like any art.
Absolutely.
Pretty much what Ricky's saying. I'll echo that sentiment. But if you live in Dallas Fort Worth, no beatdown bands, please, for the love of God. You
No
know,
more.
No
We
more.
got enough.
There's
yeah,
enough.
you look up some shit like Killing Time. I got you with the show. I got you with the show.
Nice.
It's cool.
That's great
Um,
though.
so I've just a couple other things real quick. I don't want to keep you guys all afternoon and stuff, but those books behind you, favorite book?
Yeah. Favorite book of all time?
Yeah.
The
Or
Hobbit.
The Hobbit?
The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Great answer.
And I'll tell you why.
Please do.
So when I was in 7th grade, my buddy and I, we were playing with these little like wizard pewter figurines on his desk instead of doing whatever the hell we were supposed to be doing in class. And our teacher came over and he's like, you can't be playing this in class and whatever. We're like, yeah, whatever. And then he's just like, have you guys heard of Lord of the Rings? And we're like, no. He's like, okay, if you guys are into like wizards and stuff, because I guess it turns out he was a huge fan of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and stuff. And
Okay.
he's like, I tell you what, the next section we're doing, the book that we're reading is some World War II books, Lotta's Diary. And he's just like, well, if you want, I'll make up a lesson plan for you two to read The Hobbit. It's another fantasy book, and I just fucking fell in love with fantasy. It like blew me away because
That's rules.
I grew up playing like RPGs and like
Yeah.
World of Warcraft and like Zelda and like all these like open world type games where you just go and explore.
I see the Horde flag there in the back.
Yeah, I actually have Frostmourne over there, or the sword.
Nice,
I haven't
dude.
hung it up
Heck
yet.
yeah.
My wife got me that for Christmas.
Nice.
But yeah, so The Hobbit, and that just like opened my eyes to fantasy and just escapism and getting lost from every day.
That's cool. So Foz, I know you don't have a immaculate bookcase behind you, but what's your favorite book?
Favorite book, man? Probably Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. I put Ricky onto that one
Okay.
recently. You know, it delves into like a lot of themes about the nature of man, the manifest destiny, and so on and so forth. And I also pulled a lot of inspiration from that book for a lot of the lyrics for demo too.
Cool.
Sick.
So, that's one of my favorites. It was one of those one of those books where they were for the longest time. Cormac McCarthy didn't want to really have a movie for it because he wrote shit like No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Movie's great,
In the
and
road. Yeah.
and The Road. And he kind of came around to doing it for Blood Meridian towards the end of his life and was helping with the script actually. Then he kicked the bucket, and it's still getting written, but I cannot wait till that one has a fucking movie, man. It's either gonna be really good or really bad or just kind of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Chris? I mean, we've talked books a little bit. Can you
Yeah.
read?
I can read. Isn't that
Okay.
crazy, Kyle? Look at that. See, the thing about being friends with Kyle is that if I set my expectations low all the time, I'm constantly blowing his mind that I can just do basic things. My favorite book is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. It's a manga
Oh,
book, but
yeah, that's a good one.
that book is nuts. He's my favorite author. And for those who don't know, it's a manga horror story about how spirals end up taking over every part of existence and they drive people crazy. So it is so weird, like truly very weird. But the art is awesome and the story's great.
Cool.
That sounds crazy. Yeah.
Now, see,
Kyle, what's your answer? Oh, go for it, Foz.
no, you're good. You're good. I didn't know graphic novels counted, so
Oh,
I
do
would
you
have
have a
given a
favorite
different
graphic
answer.
novel then?
Yeah,
It's
it's
called
called.
novel. So it's a book.
I'm not very smart. You know this. It's called Brat Pack by Rick Veitch. It's kind of like
Okay.
it's an alternative take on like sidekicks and the superhero trope, and delved into like a more darker reality with it. It inspired stuff like The Boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my favorites. One of my
Heck
favorite
yeah.
novels. There you
There you
go.
go.
Awesome.
I will
Yeah, that's cool.
absolutely toss graphic novels in there because they're just as fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's dope. Yeah.
Kyle, what's your
yeah,
favorite book?
I'm right in there with Ricky. The Lord of the Rings are my favorite books, and
Hell
I
yeah.
mean anything Tolkien touched. I've read, Silmarillion, even some of his like notes and papers
Wow.
and stuff that he wrote, and he just it's incredible that even this long after they've been written, people still, it's still one of the greatest works of literature out there. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
but. Cool. Well, Chris, I don't know if you have anything else. I got one last one and we can wrap up.
You're welcome to take it. Go for it.
Yeah, just wanted to, give you guys a chance to like shout out your socials, shout out other bands. You talk about hardcore, but if there's other bands you want to shout out, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Social. We only have Instagram. It's at xSpit My Rage X817 on IG. Bands I want to shout out. Ricky, feel free to interrupt me if there's somebody I'm forgetting. Obviously Ozone. They're the reason this whole band started. Without their encouragement, like Spit My Rage wouldn't be a thing. So want to shout those guys out. Those guys are definitely team, family. Visions of Mortality, Grimoire, Hardcourt, uh, Ballista, One in the Chamber. Trying to think who else, man. Who else that's on the real deal side of things? Uh Six Shots in Dallas, Empty Shell Casing, In Response. Ricky, am I missing anybody else?
Probably. We're probably missing 100.
Oh
We'll be
yeah,
here all
nah.
day.
We're missing a bunch of
No,
people.
Corruption Records, like
For-
they've been
yeah.
fucking great for us. They're out of San Antonio. I think that's why San Antonio is like our 1B.
Yeah,
They
go
just
ahead.
support Texas hardcore so much, and every band that they put music out for, they're just awesome people.
Yeah. Armageddon Records in
Armageddon,
Florida.
Josh
Yeah.
has been great,
Cool.
absolutely great.
Those
Cool.
guys gave
Well,
us opportunities, so all
yeah,
love to
rules.
them.
that's awesome. That's super
great.
cool. So look, I appreciate you guys jumping on. Big fans of you guys, been big fans of the music. Really looking forward to what you've got coming out. I mean, I know we talked shows, but you got that one coming up with Combust in a couple weeks. So
Yeah.
I will be there. I will shoot. Maybe I'll dogpile on some people and grab the mic from you.
Go
That's
for
right,
it,
you
man.
will. That's right, you will.
It's gonna be the Dogpile show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Combust's new album is freaking rips. Like
It's
it's
Yeah.
so
so good.
good.
It's
That
It's
dope.
band is so
fantastic.
fucking good, and they're
It's
awesome
great.
dudes too.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I recently learned the song Swallowing Swords that they that Andrew from Combust based the cadence off of My Michelle by Guns N' Roses, and I can't hear it the same.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dang.
That's awesome. So cool. Well, we'll wrap it up. But again, thank you guys. When you get new music, let us know. We'll be sure to shoot it out however we can and promote. And you're always welcome back on too. So
Awesome.
Love to be back. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
cool.
It was great talking to you guys.
Likewise.
Mm.